Oh my gosh, it took a minute.
We got there in the
Alrighty.
end.
Alrighty. That was a lot of running around. You have no idea what I just had to do then. I was like a wizard. A wizard. Alrighty. Well, let's get into it. Firstly, I want to welcome everyone to this beautiful live stream for Spread This Witches. We have a very exciting guest for you today, someone whom I have been reading, essentially, since I was about 19 years old. And so I have the lovely, incredible, incomparable Fiona Horne here with us. Would you like to say hello, Fiona?
Hello, Avalon, and hello, Alvine. Is she here with us too?
I'm
Yes,
here.
Alvine's here.
Lovely to meet you.
Excellent, excellent. So we've got, just bear with us, folks, today because it's a little bit of funny weather and we've had a few little technical issues. So if there's a delay, if there's a lag or anything like that, please be patient. But I'm going to now take an opportunity to explain to you, especially those of you who don't yet know, exactly who the lovely Fiona Horne is. So I have my notes off to the side here so that I don't forget anything. So here we go. Fiona Horne is a best-selling author, a modern witch, spiritual teacher, and oracle deck creator, and international retreat leader whose work has guided millions across more than 3 decades. So no small feat, folks. In the 90s, she was the lead singer of the iconic Australian rock band Def FX. And during that time, she shifted overseas to the US, where she appeared in countless television series and shows and interviews and beautiful things like that. And so over the last 30 years, she has become one of the most recognizable voices in modern witchcraft. And we are absolutely thrilled to be sitting with her here today because she has a brand new book and oracle deck out through Rockpool and Simon and Schuster. And so we're going to be talking a little bit about that today, but mostly we're going to get to know Fiona and let her speak about her incredible life and her beautiful time as an author and creator in the sphere of witchcraft. Yeah. Mm. All right, so we have a traditional, excuse me, spread this witch's question, and this is for Fiona. Fiona, if you could choose one tarot card to represent where you are in life right now, what would that tarot card be and why?
Do I answer this right now?
You can, yes.
Okay, all right. Well, I always trust my intuition, and the first card that jumps into my head, and it was a really interesting one because it was the Empress. But then it shifted to the Staff. And I was like, okay, why am I getting these two? Because I've read tarot for over 30 years, and the deck for me has become something that is like a portal and a bunch of doorways rather than
Mm.
a specific relationship with imagery and meanings as you'd find in a book. It's been a very long journey of reading
Mm.
tarot, and I was gifted my first deck by other witches when I was around 20, 21. And I had
Mm.
self-initiated because back then there was not many people doing it. I mean, I'm 60 next year, so we're talking 40 years ago. And it was like so the journey of learning them and going from the book to the, and doubting everything to just being this very intuitive kind of tool over all these years. When I think of the Empress and the Star, it's the Empress I always see as a fertility symbol, a birthing symbol, and also a symbol of a divinely guided feminine essence and element. And I think in many ways I'm rebirthing my life as I move through this next phase. I've just had a hip replacement, which might sound bizarre, but I'm sitting here in my medical chair being careful not to flex my hips over 90 degrees because I could dislocate my new hip. But it sounds kind of bizarre but I have lived with so much pain. Like now that I'm actually free of pain, now that this insane pain I used to have inside my hip is actually just gone, like poof, like magic. And I'm like
Wow.
going, gosh, pain has been such a determining factor in my life for at least 3 or 4 years now, like really hardcore. Every step hurt, every motion to sit or stand hurt. And I just kept pushing through, pushing through, pushing through. And I'm free of it. And it's extraordinary how I didn't let the pain stop me from doing anything, but I still, trekked all over Egypt with women and up Bali and traveling and flying and doing all the millions of things I do, like flying airplanes and everything as a job and all the things I've done in the last whatever years. But this pain has been such a massive part of it, and it's gone. It's just gone.
Mm.
So I feel like
Mm.
I'm rebirthing. So I think that's where that Empress pregnancy kind of fertility, bursting out kind of energy is coming from. And then the
Mm.
star, I've always seen the star card. Some people get a little bit scared of the star and think, oh, it's a bit illusionary. It's a bit like be careful what you wish for kind of card, or the way I interpret it. But I also see the star as like a light that shines in the darkest night, and I'm guided to like by that light. And stars have always been a really powerful part of my practice. Whenever I'm in natural environments, like most recently on the top of Mount Sinai in Egypt, I was there in October. I trekked up there with my aching bung hip, and some ladies I took up, and was sleeping up on the top of Mount Sinai in Egypt with these Bedouin friends I have up in a camp up there. And the stars are so bright, and I always feel guided by the stars. So I think that's why I'm getting this Star Empress fusion. So
Oh,
yeah,
I
there you
love
go.
that.
Because that's where I feel
love
where I'm at.
that.
That's where I'm at as we kind of break out of, let's remember too, if we lean into Chinese astrology a little, we've got the year of the snake kind of closing, and that's very much the shedding of skin. And I love snakes. Snakes have always been a big part of my practice, a big part of my craft. Practically, I've had snakes as familiars a very long time ago, like 30 years ago. And so they've always been a really powerful, potent presence in my practice and life. And we go into the year of the horse next year, and I was born in the year of the fire horse in 66.
Ah.
So I feel like there's a bursting out of the gates kind of energy, like a just a racing across the plains kind of energy. Like, what can I get up to now? And I already got up to quite a lot. So,
you have been dynamic.
A more generous introduction. It's like, I know I've done a lot. And you introduced me very generously. And so one of the biggest things I've been doing in recent times, in addition to writing, is taking women around the world on nourishing spiritual adventures. And I feel like that's just going to burst out of the gates in an even bigger way. So anyway,
well, now that you've got that full mobility back and going, you can like trek far and wide now, and you can like lead retreats, and you're just free of this
even
like
further
horrendous
and wider,
pain.
and it's already been pretty far and wide, bound by pain. So yeah.
Imagine next she'll be on the moon, folks. She will be on the moon. All right. Well, let's get into some lovely questions. So we'll jump straight in because we have limited time with you today, and we know that we want to be respectful of your recovery and all of that. So let's get into it. So Fiona has written around 15 books over the last 2 decades. Fiona, what first drew you to witchcraft initially, and what kind of prompted you to become like a prominent author in this field?
Well, what drew me was just growing up in the Australian bush, born in the 60s, growing up in the 70s in Australia, living in a bushland environment, being very close to nature, having absolutely zero influence of witchcraft other than kind of going into my years of 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 and seeing Bewitched on TV, or reading Enid Blyton books, The Magic Faraway Tree, which is about to be made into a movie. And that was where my first introduction to kind of a concept of a witch and magic came through. It was through fantasy and television, but more importantly, with that W word attached. But the way I was living in the bush, with the interaction I had with even just flowers and trees and animals and just being in the bush, I was very lucky to grow up in a sort of a situation where my mother would just say to us kids, go out and play in the bush, kids, and come back in time for dinner. And that's where I kind of created this very innate instinctual relationship with the natural world. And I felt as a young child, it was my best friend. The world of nature was my best friend. I was not humans. I was very bullied and isolated as a child. I had a very difficult childhood in many ways as far as growing up, and even difficult at home. I mean, I love my parents. My father's passed, but I'm caring for my mother now. She has Alzheimer's. I'm staying as I recover through my surgery recovery with my mother, with my sister-in-law, with my brother, and you can have all these years as a family really kind of displaced or disengaged, and then when you come back together with love, unconditional love, it doesn't matter what happened in the past. So as I reflect on the difficult childhood I had and the very lonely and isolated childhood I had, the bush was always my best friend. Nature was my best friend. Nature was safe. Nature was empowering. If I needed an answer, I went out into the bush and I waited until a stone or a leaf falling from a tree or a bird flying by gave me an answer. It was all very instinctual. As I moved through my teens, I left home very young. I didn't finish school. I left home before I turned 15. Home was very difficult. It was very unhappy. I was sexually abused by my grandfather in a horrible way from when I was very young. There were lots of horrible, sad things going on. I talked about this in my autobiography, The Naked Witch, that was published in 2017. So as an adopted child, unfortunately suffering abuse from a family member, there was lots of stuff that went on, just stuff, all the stuff. And so I left home very young. And as I moved into my teen years, looking for answers that were not aligned with my Catholic upbringing, I was drawn to witchcraft in a more consolidated way because I thought I was satanic. I thought, what's the opposite of Catholicism? Satanism. So I managed to get a copy of this satanic Bible from the local library, and I just, as you do. But as I read through that and tried to explore the ritual in that, I was like, this is too similar to Catholicism. There's too much fear. There's too much of, sexualization of women in my own kind of abused way. I just didn't feel comfortable with any of it. But it was funny, through that doorway, I discovered more about witch, and there was a goddess mentioned of sorts. And I did more research as best I could back then with no internet, no fucking TikTok, none of that. And it was like, how do I, so, it was lots of research through libraries, trying to find books or, I remember finding in a like a truck stop thing in, I was, I don't know, somewhere in outback Australia. And there was a book bin at a petrol station, with books that you could buy for 50 cents, and there was other, God, what is the Neville Drury book? Other things, other gods. Why am I blanking on the name of that? Other temples, other gods. Whatever that really pivotal book by Neville Drury was, it was in the book bin, sale bin, and I got that out and I was like reading that. Well, this is a bit more like relates, and so the short version of this is I was just another displaced weirdo child looking for answers. And growing through a period of, by the time I was in my teens, it was the 80s. So the New Age movement really exploded out of the gate. And I was able to discover Starhawk, Ly Warren Clark, these great writers and Sybil Leek, finding secondhand Sybil Leek books, and just found out that, oh, okay, I think I'm actually a witch, but like this. This makes a lot more sense. And it just became that journey. So I'm really trying to go really fast because I know we have limited time, but I just want to encourage anyone who's listening to know that their own journey and their own version of their story of feeling drawn to living a magical life or practicing witchcraft, which is so popularized now and so massive now. The whole concept of witch aesthetic is just, I have so many stories about that, like recent meetings with people when I was in Transylvania recently, and just finding out that my blood heritage on my father's side is actually Transylvanian through the Hungarian Magyar side of things. It's,
wow.
I can just see where now in my genes, I was drawn to this path. My mother, biologically Prussian, links to Saxons. It's like, it's all in my blood and in this bone that my spirit's inhabiting right now. But as a kid growing up in Australia, you just do what you have to do to find your way. And, And then as I kind of moved through my late teens and into my early 20s, that's when I really locked into witchcraft. That's when I really locked into the concept of Wicca. I sort of really studied into Wicca as a religion of witchcraft a lot in my late teens, early 20s. And I did, whilst I wasn't initiated into any kind of coven, because back then the attitude was there were no such thing as solitary witches. You have to be initiated into a coven or you're not a real witch. It's opposite now. I've had younger people say to me, oh, I'm trying to, I'm not solitary. I'm actually, I'm trying to tell my friends I'm a real witch, but I'm not solitary. Interesting, that it's just done this flip,
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, and I mean, look, it's just, I'm just watching the craft evolve like in this really rapid way. It's just wild and it's exciting. I think it's great. But so initially, in a nutshell, drawn to nature, that was always the core practice. Finding out paganism, yes. Actually, witchcraft too, yes. And then, in my 20s and even early 30s, I was all of a sudden the band I was in, Def FX, became very successful and very popular. We traveled the world. We traveled Australia. We had, big charting records and albums. And I never spoke openly about being a witch. By then I was just full blown. This is my reality. I had friends in different cities, fellow witches that I'd meet up with and have my little pit stop of spiritual kind of connection before I'd have to go back out into the world with all the boys on the road, rocking out and just them being disgusting. And, and then meet up with my witchy girlfriends at the next city. But I always traveled with a little altar, but I never spoke outright about it. I never said I think I'm a witch or I can identify as a witch. Those terms like I identify as didn't exist 30 years ago. They just didn't. Now you can say I identify as this, I identify as that.
Anything. You can identify as anything now.
Nothing. There was, and back then there was no way of voicing it, and so, in a language that was considered acceptable, it was just, anyway, whatever. Life is different now for sure. But back then I traveled with an altar and the lyrics, when I say that, I mean like a little crystal, a little, incense, just whatever I could, and a little image of the goddess as I related to her. There was one particular one that really resonated through in my personal practice through all those years. And then the song lyrics of Def FX, Spiral Dance, I'll Be Your Magic, Spell on You. These lyrics were, hymn to her, HYMN, hymn to her, which was essentially a goddess chant, Isis Astarte, Diana Hecate. I did a version of that for that song. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I did Ishtar, Hecate, Isis, Kali, Persephone, Venus, Aradia. I mean, that's a Def FX song, and I was chanting that with 10,000 people chanting along with me. I mean, and no one knew what they were singing. So, I mean, but I never overtly came out as a witch, so until the band broke up and I wrote my first book, Witch: A Personal Journey. And I remember in 1997 when I got that deal, was with Random House and Jane Polfram, she looked at me and she went, because by then I was massive. Like, I was on the cover of magazines and everywhere. Like, I had shows on TV. This is in Australia. Channel 9, I had a contract with Channel 9. I was hosting Triple M's Planet Rock. I mean, it was massive. You couldn't go anywhere and not see Fiona Horne. But all of a sudden, Fiona Horne's a witch. And I remember Jane saying, a rock star writing a book about witchcraft, that'll sell a few copies. And that was in 1997. And it became a bestseller, and it was wild, and it just kind of, all of a sudden I was a poster girl for witchcraft, and that was in the 90s, and so it's interesting to see now how that kind of the evolution of the craft has meant that there are many, many, many public voices, and no one would dare denigrate them and say that and dismiss them. And but back then you were constantly, like, it was a fight every day to leave the door and say, nope, don't worship Satan. No, not a black witch. I am a witch, even though I have blonde hair. It's just, it was
the
just
stereotype is real,
against
folks.
the bricks of all the stereotypes. Yeah, it was real back then, and it's real now in the witch aesthetic kind of thing. But I kind of like it now. I mean, I've been on the planet like a long time in this physical life relative to how long we have. My past is a lot longer than my future, and I just sometimes just enjoy it. I've decided not to try and dive into the TikTok world too much. It's too hectic, and I just kind of feel like that in my own way. I will do what's relevant. I will offer, uh, offer my what I can. I'm very blessed to have a wonderful publisher that I'm still published. I've pretty much been published in 2028, I guess it'll be. Have been published 30 years, and there hasn't really been 1 year that a book hasn't come out.
Wow.
So I feel very grateful to still. I mean, I'm sitting here with these tactile things in front of me. My beautiful Coven book that's coming out in February, and I've got little advanced copies and Oracle. I mean, how lucky am I to still have actual books published that is, that's paper, and it's just, I feel so blessed I haven't had human babies, but these are my babies, like so blessed that's the Empress energy too, having babies, giving birth.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's a new baby
thank you
coming.
so much for that. Thank you so much for sharing all that information. I could honestly listen to you forever. I could just sort of sit here going, oh, and by the way, I did want to say something for those who are watching.
Honestly,
and
Avalon, I could talk forever. I could talk forever.
I love that. But if you are not from Australia, the term bush means native forest here in Australia. We call them, we say we're going out bush, went for a walk through the bush, grew up in the bush. That's what it means. It means native forest, because our forests are very different from place to place here in Australia. I live in a temperate climate, but in the middle, it's quite bushy, it's quite arid, it's quite dry. And so that's Australiana speak at its absolute best. I just wanted to inform you there a little bit.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's keep going. Alvine,
yeah, I've got it. I got it. It's all right.
You got it?
I got it. All right. So Fiona, we know that you're very well traveled and have lived overseas for many years of your life, but we'd love to know how the fierce, beautiful Australian landscape has specifically shaped your magical practice.
Well, I think one of the most important things I found out relatively recently, to be honest, is living in Western Australia during the COVID years. I was there from 2020 to 2023, and I had been living in the Caribbean and working as a pilot out there, and my magical, life was quite different out there, influenced very differently, seasonally, living on a small island. All of that kind of stuff over there. To come back to Australia, and then it's Western Australia, was just remarkable. And I became close to Indigenous, I'll say wisdom keepers, who shared with me a deeper understanding of the 6 or even 8 seasons that are recognised in certain regions, and by the First Nations people, by the custodians of Australia. And that helped me, that influenced my practice in a different way too, whilst I was in Western Australia. And I think that, as Avalon said, down in Tassie, it's a really different, more temperate climate. I grew up in sort of the Sydney region, which is again different. I think one of the really wonderful things, and I actually live in Egypt now, as much as I'm recovering from my surgery and spending time caring for my mother now in Australia, I've been living in Egypt for the last 3 years. And that really influences your practice as well, because, of the very, very different climate there as well. So I think the lesson here is like how I'd love to anyone who's listening or watching to think for a minute, how does where I live impact my practice? Because it's critical. I think more than ever, as the earth is under pressure from our presence on it as a species, how do we interact with our immediate environment, and what kind of resonance do we leave, energetic and also practically, and what kind of relationship do we have with it? And that's going to really impact our practice. So, I mean, even more recently, traveling to Transylvania in September, because I create these nourishing spiritual adventures for women, and I'm in my 3rd year of offering them in Egypt next year, and I'm going to be offering them in Transylvania and other parts of Romania next year. It's really impacting, because I offer ceremony and a ritual as a part of those experiences for the women that travel with me. So it was really interesting being in Transylvania and kind of having this experience of walking through this extraordinary environment, the forest and the areas. I was in this volcanic lake area, and being able to just pick berries off bushes like I was a bear or something, and just eating off the produce of the land that had grown in that moment, and just feeling that energy come in and feeling the integration of that as it nourished me. I was nourishing it back in my appreciation of it. It was a conversation. It was a conversation with the natural world. Not something that I was just taking and using for a ritual. Take this herb, burn it, make this happen. It was a conversation we were having. And the land was talking to me and helping me understand deeper aspects of practice, more liminal spaces around where we manifest and how we manifest and how we interact. So again, with the natural world, I just think it's an ongoing conversation that we all need to be learning as witches. And that means feeling drawn to doing certain things sometimes and not other times. And I know that's not the easy answer. People probably love to hear, pick a gum leaf and do this with it. And I found out that happens. It's not like that anymore, more than ever, because I think our presence on the planet is really becoming something that she is going, don't know whether I'll chuck a meteor at it again and start again. Because it's like, I don't mean to sound too awful, but humans we're a weird species, aren't we?
We really,
even
really
as much
are.
as we want to, we really want to. So many of us really want to have the conversation with the Great Mother and learn from her and learn with her. And maybe she learns from us. Mothers learn from their children too. But it's like there's this massive disconnect, and you can't let that stop you wanting to live your best life and try to be useful in the world. And I mean, I certainly, as a sober person, I've been sober in this human form for over 13 years now, and it's like in a program and all the things. And that has really impacted my magical work a lot, my magical life, in a great way, in a beautiful way, in a profound way. And it's always evolving and always ongoing. It also has allowed me to understand through the 12-step program the best practice of my craft, which is to be of service, and also not to proselytize, not to preach, but to just be, do, and try to be a vessel more than a source. I don't know if that makes sense. But more like a something coming through, not from. I mean, I can add Fiona's practical advice and wisdom and life wisdom, but there's something that comes through you and not from you that's more profound as a witch, I think, as I experience it now as I approach my sixth decade on the planet. So I mean, it's not a reason to feel despair. It's a reason just to be more conscious and more present and more grateful.
Absolutely.
And do the best we can to have the conversation with the source of our magic, which is the Great Mother. It's everything that comes through us.
Yeah, that's perfectly said. I think each person has to negotiate that. Everyone has to have that experience. Like, I personally made the decision for myself a few years ago now that I wanted to move to Tasmania. I was living up in Cairns and I wanted to be more connected to everything. I felt smothered by all of my belongings and I felt constricted. I explored minimalism and zero waste. And then I eventually ended up moving to southern Tasmania, where I live completely off grid in a tiny home and I grow my own food now, because that has made me feel more connected than ever before. I now, like, I respect the farm to table relationship a lot more. And I think because I have small children, it gives them the opportunity to go and eat fruit directly off the trees down here and just play in the bush. I've got 28 acres of forest all around me, and they brave the snakes and they go wandering. They're wild, feral children. And I just, to be able to gift that as an experience. But here's the thing, like, you give up a lot of comfort. I've had to give up a lot of comfort to live this life. It's my sacrifice that I made to connect myself more to my practice and to the biosphere around me. And I think that that's a big that's a big thing. Like we want it all these days. We don't want to sacrifice anything and we want it all. But at the end of the day, like choices need to be made and, you know, intentions need to be set. And I don't regret ever coming down here. Like this is, I've actually pulled
Mm.
my friends down here as well. I've got some of my best friends moving down now because I've made it sound so good. And they've all come for a visit and they're like, yeah, this is not too bad. We could do this. Yeah, we could do this. And I'm like, and there you have it. Set by example.
Well, that's exactly right. And that's one of the 12-step things. It's like you're an example. You try to live the practice and walk the talk, for want of a better term, and be that example. And then if others are drawn to it, then that's appropriate. But you don't go out trying to shove it down people's throats. And I think the other thing is that we can only do the best we can. You know, as you're sharing, Avalon, your beautiful life choices, and I'm sitting here in a chair that's vinyl and foam and not recyclable, but it's a specially designed medical chair for me to sit in because I've just had major surgery. And I mean, I had major surgery. You know, usually I just fixed myself by thinking positively, lots of natural supplements, adjusting my physical practice, like with yoga or whatever, because I've been a yoga practitioner now for decades and a teacher for a long period of time. I had a yoga teacher a guru, as I call my guru, who I practiced with for 7 years, and then she bequeathed me her students when she had to leave the area, and I taught, you know, so I didn't go to a 108 or 280 hour teacher program. I trained with a guru for 7 years and then became a teacher. So I don't know, I'm kind of conscious of like how I could heal myself before this massive thing that happened in the last 18 months, a massive autoimmune condition developed, which I think was innately stress and fear and lots of things kind of, you know, percolating away inside me. And despite my outgoing life and the way I appear on social media now, whatever. And so I'm sitting in this very non-recyclable chair. You know, we can only do the best we can do, you know, like, I mean, I'm eating, you know, organic food, but it's been irradiated. It's in a plastic bag. We can only do the best we can do and try to live consciously. And that doesn't mean that everything's going to be perfect, but perfect being, what is perfect? When I gave up being a perfectionist, suddenly everything was perfect. So we just have to do our best. I think the key is conscious choices, owning your choices and trying to be consistent, and just also making, like, if you make a mistake or you have to modify, then that's okay too. And if people judge you or criticize you, or there's the, you know, whatever, just sometimes you have to just let people be and just do the best you can do. I mean, I do a lot of animal rescue now in Cairo, where I, you know, I'm often, it's not my permanent place in Egypt, but I've been in the city of Cairo a lot in the last year, and a lot of animal rescue, including some very close to my heart. And it's who I've a little family of animals that I found born under my car, not my car, but a car in my street, and kittens and puppies, and a mother dog nursing the kittens and the puppies. Like, she had both kittens and puppies on her, feeding with her. And I've rescued this family, and they're like my heart, and I miss them. And one of them's just gone to live in Zurich, and one is living in Hamburg. And it's like, and Butch is still available for adoption. He's amazing. And the cats are doing great. All the things. Mama's doing great. I've organised permanent foster home residency for them, blah, 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 blah. But my point is, there's over 1 million street animals in Egypt. I've been able to help directly about 15, and I rescued 2 camels as well, dogs and cats and 2 camels. You have to just accept that you can't do everything all the time. Yeah, I rescued
100%.
2 camels. One camel was actually purchased by one of my guests, one of my ladies who comes traveling in Egypt with me. She came in the recent one in October, and she saw that I had rescued a camel, got it away from the meat works, and God knows what sort of abuse it was going to suffer. And I was able to gift it to a Bedouin family that are living with it. They love it. It's fed, it's loved. It's called Captain Fifi. That was the deal. If I helped them with this camel, which would change their lives because it would give them a source of income as well. The camel would take people on pilgrimages up to the top of Mount Sinai. So we kind of went halves in the camel, but it had to be called Captain Fifi, which is my Instagram handle. So there's a camel called Captain Fifi taking people up to the top of Mount Sinai. If you ever go there and you meet Captain Fifi, that's my camel, along with Goma and his family, his wonderful family. And then my client Cheryl, one of my traveling ladies, she also rescued a camel in a similar way, and we decided the same family would protect and care for this camel because they're such good people and they love animals and they're just so good at camel husbandry. So yeah, that's Felix. So if you get Felix or Captain Fifi, they're two rescued camels in Sinai right now on the mountain.
Oh my gosh. Look at that.
I don't
folks.
know. Watch out. I start waffling and going on tangents like you wouldn't believe. If anyone, I know we're probably coming up to the end of our time soon, but if anyone wants to know more about all this random shit that I'm talking about, it's not random, it's just my life. Just go to FionaHorne.com. It's all there, like everything, like ways to see my socials, ways to come traveling with me to Egypt, Bali, Egypt's almost sold out. There's only 4 places left now. I did a private pre-release. So there's only 4 places left for Meet Yourself in Egypt. There's 1 place for Meet Yourself in Bali. And I'm about to announce Meet Yourself in Transylvania. And that's going to be amazing. I'm so excited about that one. And that's all happening next year. So just go to Fiona Horne. Meet Yourself in Transylvania is actually about healing the witch wound. It was a location where there were many, many, many witch trials. And it was one of the areas where the worst of the witch craze was enforced. And it's a really extraordinary place to go on so many levels. It has such a fascinating culture. People think of Transylvania and Romania as the Dracula myth and folklore, which is great and fine. But I'll tell you something even more interesting. Bran Castle, which they market as the place of Dracula, the home of Dracula, was actually where Queen Mary of Romania and her daughter, Princess Ileana, Queen Mary, or Mary, however you pronounce it, Mari, she was Scottish, but she went and married, I think it was King Ferdinand in Romania, and she was there in the early 1900s, 1930s and 40s. From memory, I'm just learning more and more about her, but she was an amazing queen. Her daughter, an aviator, they lived in that castle. And she converted that castle. I think it was actually after the war. It was she converted it into a beautiful retreat. And when you visit Bran Castle now, you're not really seeing where Dracula, the myth and folklore of Dracula lived. You're actually going where Queen Mary and her daughter Princess Ileana, it's a castle of celebration of female empowerment and achievement. These 2 women did extraordinary things, and we in the West hardly know anything about them politically, as well as Queen Mary was a nature conservationist. She was passionate about nature. She was very witchy. She was originally Scottish. I don't know. So I'm really excited to share a lot about Transylvania and also my family bloodlines, because that's where my father's from, and we will drink from the same springs that he drank from, and travel. There's just so many amazing things going on there. Heal the witch wound, and meet with Mihaela Minka, who is a gypsy witch. She's going to allow us into her home with her daughters to do ceremony and witchcraft, as the Roma gypsies do it. So there's so many really potent things going on with Meet Yourself in Transylvania, and I'm about to announce that publicly. So I'm super excited about that. It's going to happen in September next year. September.
Excellent. Very, very busy, folks. So you heard that. Go to her website and you'll be able to get all of the links, all of the know-hows, and all of the backstories and things like that. And so as we're coming up to 10 minutes left, Fee, I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about the current book that you've got going on right now. And then we're going to open up to our beautiful viewers, and we're going to offer some readings to our viewers. Yes. And you've got the Oracle deck for your new book, Coven, with you.
Yes.
Oh, look at that.
So I do.
Folks.
Look
2026.
I have 2 copies of it. Yes. February 2026. And you can actually do a pre-order now. And I've heard that some of the pre-orders are actually being delivered already, you know, the way books come out these days. But yeah, these are officially released in February 26th. And I'm actually about to announce a big book tour in March of Australia, the east coast of Australia, 2026 as well in March. So I'm super excited about that. Offering workshops, and being that Coven Where Witches Gather is really an ode to community within our craft, I'm really hoping to really bring the community together as I travel, and bring the sisterhood together as I travel, you know, around Australia. And my first book tour since 2019. So I'm super excited about that. And this is such a beautiful book. I mean, my publishers have kicked it out of the park. Look, it's a beautiful hardcover faux leather fear with gorgeous green.
Gorgeous.
I mean, and look, I'm just sort of seeing what you can see, the illustrations and the pages, the way it's done. Just trying to look at this, just gorgeous. And so The Lost Book of Spells, which came out before this, it's a book that was released this year. And it's a similar style. I don't have a copy with me, sadly, but it looks very similar. Lost Book of Spells, red. And it's the same beautiful, the actual insides of the book are designed aligned with a beautiful 16th century magical tomb. I'm trying to remember what my publisher said. She saw a book that was published in Italy in the 16th century that was a book of magic. And so the designer at the book, at the publishers, used that same kind of style.
Look at that.
Like,
I
how
love
beautiful.
the green edging.
Yeah.
I love that vibrant green edging.
And I'll show you what you'll love as well, because with the Oracle deck, it's the same thing. So it's a companion Oracle that's meant to be pulled, you know, by groups. It can be pulled by individuals, but it's actually designed for group readings. So look at the green on this too. So, and the artist, an amazing girl, Miriam, who's from Spain, and she came and we worked together to create these images. I mean, look, these are just so beautiful. It's one of my favorites. Look at that one. So I would say to Miriam, I need an image that just needs to have these kinds of you know, symbols or signs to go with a certain meaning, and then she would draw intuitively. And she's not a witch, but I feel like she got a really amazing intuitive connection as we created these cards together. You know, and they're really different. You know, they're really interesting and really different. So yeah. And they're designed that, you know, for group readings, as well as say if you had a magical group or an actual coven or whatever, and you might decide to do one. I mean, there's suggested readings that I offer, different types of pulls you can do, you know, different at the beginning of the booklet. There's different types. So I love this one, because this one, you start at the top of the year and you pull a card for each Sabbath and you lay it out and take a photo and you put that up on the wall or whatever, or if you're a digital coven, just save it as a file. And then that is your reading for each Sabbath, and the things you work on throughout the year as each Sabbath ticks over. And so, yeah, there's lots of really beautiful ways of interacting with the cards through a group kind of connection, whether your group is 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, 5 people. Yeah, so it's just something a little bit different, you know, because and it felt very appropriate to, I mean, whenever I create a book, there's always or an oracle. This is, you know, this is my 5th oracle, actually. The first one was Magic of You, which you shared, Avalon, on your pages.
I love it.
A little while ago.
It's on my altar right now. That was my
first one. I love that one too, like working with Marcella Bolivar. What an incredible artist. And she's a South American artist and out of Bolivia. Yeah, she's amazing. And yeah, and I've just been really blessed that every deck has had a different artist. Lost Oracle, which I do have over there. I should have brought it over. It's really beautiful. The girl, Victoria, that did that, Veronica, she used a lot of the old woodcut kind of designs that were can I grab it?
Yeah, go grab it. Go grab it. I didn't even know about this one.
2 seconds. Yeah, let me show you. Hang on.
But for those watching right now, I had a no-buy tarot year last year, and it just seems that every good deck came out last year. I was just like, I will not buy anymore.
I know. I'm the same. Like, people say, you know, how many tarot decks do you have? And I have to say, I only have one tarot deck. I'm just going to show you really quickly because I think it's relevant.
Mm.
And then we'll go back to talking about my stuff quickly. And I know I can go about 10 minutes over if it doesn't matter for you girls, because I know we're a little bit
as
late.
long as you can talk for as long as you like, as long as you're feeling good. Okay.
We're good. Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Yes.
I think we can go about 10 over. That'd be fine. I wanted to show you something. I talked about being gifted my first tarot deck when I was like 20, 21. So that's what cards look like when you've read them for, you know,
Wow.
decades. So I know I feel like
Love.
it's a show and tell because I've used like this card to show. I mean, the original deck that this card is a part of is now wrapped in plastic, so to speak. No, it's actually in a zip purse that doesn't get opened. But I mean, that's an example. If anyone ever wants to go, oh, I've been reading tarot for a long time, I'll say, what do your cards look like? Do they look like this? Because that's a card that's been read a lot. It's actually the High Priestess card, but and I always know because I can still see a glimpse of her. But what ended up happening, and this is my original altar cloth, by the way, too. So when we talk about the time you spent as a practicing witch, what does your original altar cloth look like? This is what mine looks like now. That's not it's not because it's been burned or anything. It's just that old. I mean, I've been doing it that long that my original altar cloth looks like this. This is actually a scarf I got, and it used to have moons and suns on it, and I've had it since I was 18, and yeah, so I'm 60 next year. So it's been all around the world with me. It has been a base of ritual and ceremony and everything's so much, and I've gently hand washed it, but it ultimately ends up looking like this. And then I wrap it around my original oracle. I mean, it's my original tarot now, but I'll just share quickly the reason I only have one tarot. I have like oracle decks. I don't collect them voraciously because I write them, and so I'm always engaged in writing another one. But the tarot, I've only ever had one, because this deck was gifted to me by other witches. And I was told it was my gift, that you are to focus on this. This is your gift. We've done ceremony introspection. We know this is your gift. This is what you will excel at in your service to others. And at the time I was so young and it was all about me, because that's normal and natural when you're young. You have to have the ego running full force and determining the parameters of your existence and your identity. And so it was all me, I. And then it tips and it becomes you, and us. As your life as a witch evolves and you move into your elder years, as I do, your senior witch years, which I really enjoy saying. I'm a senior witch vibes. I like it. But here she is. So this is what I was able to do. Wow. is find this deck. This is a Celtic tarot deck. They don't make them anymore. This was gifted to me in the 80s. This is the one from the 80s, and this is the one from about 10 years ago. I had to eventually change over to a new deck because I just couldn't shuffle these anymore and I couldn't read them anymore. And so I was able to find through just online, someone had an original deck that was still wrapped up and hadn't been opened, and I bought it. And I felt that I was, not getting a new deck, but just turning over the next page in the story of it. And so you can see these have been read a bit, but I mean, I read them a lot. I mean, it's about 8 years ago, actually, that I was able to find this deck, and I just knew I couldn't use these anymore. But so that's an example of like the significance of tarot to me. That's why I find it fascinating. Back then, it wasn't easy to get decks. There weren't a lot of them. There was some because it was the 80s and it was kind of popularizing a little bit. But compared to now, but oracles are very different to tarot. They're a very different discipline. They have different origins. They have a different purpose. And I think it's fun, and I encourage people to own as many oracle decks as they want or feel drawn to. And the only other tarot deck I've read sometimes is Rider-Waite, just because, but this is the deck I was gifted. This is the deck I was gifted. So this is the one that I use for my readings when I, when I do that as service. And I never read the cards for myself either. It's not for me to do that. I do them as service for others. And but I'll show you quickly the Lost Oracle.
Yes, please.
By the way, look at this. This is my new altar cloth. Check this out.
Oh,
so this is an incredible. So this is from Siwa in Egypt, and it's an oasis in the northwestern part of Egypt, inland, about 40 miles from the border of Libya.
Mm.
And I took a group of my ladies there this year, but I also go there a lot myself. Siwa is a very, very magical place. It's the Berber Bedouin community are the origins of the Siwi people, and it's very different. And all these symbols are all very esoteric in their meaning, but with the impact of Islam as a dominant religious presence in a lot of these older tribal traditional the knowledge and the practice is being put aside. And so it's amazing what I do with my women's groups is we do cultural exchange with local women, and we go to women's homes and we sew with them and we cook with them, or we create pottery and things with them. And so you're learning about they do this type of embroidery and this type of work still, but mostly for tourists who are coming, or visitors who are coming, not for themselves anymore, which is, I guess it's the way of how things are now, but it's, the traditional older, more aligned with, all those symbols are aligned with the maturation of dates and olives and the colors and the symbols are for protection and healing and family and love. And a lot of this is very much a very innate relationship with the earth, similar to how us witches do it in other ways. So anyway, yeah, that's my new altar cloth, and that wraps my cards and things and all the things. This is Lost Oracle. This is what came out.
Yes, I recognize
Oh my
that.
gosh.
Yeah. So Lost Oracle is beautiful because Veronica, who did the art, look at this. These are just stunning as well.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Avalon, put it on the Christmas list.
Yeah. Her work is remarkable, based on woodcut designs, and we collaborated on images. And yeah, I just really love the feel of the cards as well is a very matte finish, so it's really beautiful to shuffle, beautiful to handle, like just gorgeous.
Oh, I love it.
And we have little messages on the inside of the boxes. Let joy be your compass.
Oh.
And trust what lies ahead. So,
I love that.
I really love these as well. Love this one too, Midnight Brew.
So I'm just going to create my wish list now. So Lost Oracle and Coven Oracle. Okay. Well, I know what I'm getting myself for Christmas.
I love it. I think the thing with the oracles is they're so interactive and so creative, and it's like you can place one, you pull one in during the day, and you can place it on your altar and use it as a point of reference or meditation. I just love that the use of the oracle is very co-creative, and I find tarot as a portal for wisdom and insight, and I find the oracle a portal of creativity. Maybe that's a way of kind of describing the difference a little bit.
It's true. And I'm going to say,
anyway you interact with them, they'll work, Yeah.
Your Magic of You Oracle has been getting a workout for me because I'm at the height of my end of year kind of magical new year readings. And so most of my coven witches have come for readings, and like it's such a great deck to use with a witch and when you're reading for a witch. So I absolutely love this deck. I use it for myself.
Thanks.
It's on my altar. It has been on my altar all year. So very happy with it.
Thanks, Avalon. I'm really grateful to hear that it's a good tool for you. It's it's funny. I got a lovely message this morning on Instagram from a girl, one of my mini deck, which is actually over there as well. It's so gorgeous, little mini card deck. I should grab it. 1 second. I want to show you one other thing.
Please do, because I could add it to my list.
This girl wrote to me from Peru, and said, I'm using this today. Let me see where it is. Hang on. There it is.
I like this too. I like a tactile showing, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is so what's gorgeous about this is hang on. Oh, there we go. Get my rolling table for my hip replacement. Bruja Magica.
Ooh.
So this is actually witch magic, but translated. And I love that this came out as witch magic mini deck, like in English, and I think it's also in French, and it's also in I guess this is Spanish. Is that correct? Well, she's in Peru.
Yes.
So she's pulling these cards in Peru. And I just love that this is actually still sealed. I haven't opened it. My publisher sent me one. I get one copy if it's been translated. I get to have a copy to have in my personal.
That's cool.
My personal
Can I ask, Fiona,
But, I just
where can people purchase that one?
It's just Witch Magic, Bruja Magic. Oh, look, I hate to say it, good old, I don't even want to say the JB word, but the man that owns the company, Amazon, anywhere in the world, you can get my stuff. Any online retailer that's your favorite. So, whether you go to Booktopia, Goodreads, Amazon.com.au, any of these online retailers. My stuff is distributed internationally now by Simon & Schuster. My amazing publishers, Rockpool Publishing, they got a really great distribution deal international. So it's available anywhere. You know what it's like. Just go online or ask Chat AI. I always say ask my AI boyfriend Carl, Chat GPT, to tell me where I can get this. Just go to like an AI thing and say, where can I get this, and take a photo or a screenshot of it, and it'll tell you how to get it. But yeah, Bruja Magica, or Witch Magic in English. Look at these beautiful cards. Every card has a different image on it.
Oh, I love it so
and you can
much.
either pull the card. Yeah, you can either pull the card randomly, or you can go through, see which image speaks to you. Like this one speaks to me today, that one. So let's see what it says on the other side. I'm not going to understand it. Para un heptio del Belusa, something. What would I remember from this one? It's probably about when I gave up being a perfectionist. Suddenly everything was perfect. I don't know. But that's what, I can't even read my own card because it's in another language. Don't you love that?
Oh. But you can go to Rockpool and get the English version.
The point is, you can go anywhere online. You can go to FionaHorne.com, and all the links for all my different bits and pieces are there. Like you can just click on any of those links and it'll either take you to the Simon & Schuster page or the Rockpool page, and you can see where you can get it in your part of the world. But I think my point is that I just feel really lucky and really blessed that what started in 1997 as a book deal with a publisher saying to me, oh, Rockstar writing a book about witchcraft, that'll sell a few copies, to this almost 30 years of pretty much constant content, sharing my journey. And if you look back at like some of the books that were published in the early 2000s, and the cover is pink and I'm wearing white, and, and it's all very much kind of reflecting that. I look at it now and I go, well, that was the sign of the times, it was a sign of the publisher and what they thought would sell and what else was on the mark on the shelf. And I was so different then. There were no books, hardly any books about witchcraft back then. Now there's millions, literally. But back then there were hardly any. And it was just a whole new world, a whole new and look, you look at what was out in the 60s and the 70s, you had What Witches Do, you had Sybil Leek's Diary of a Witch, you had all these amazing books out there, but you count them on your hands. That was it. Now there's so I think when I look back at my publishing career and the visual representation of it, often I was dismissed by my own community. There's some horrible things written about me on the internet, horrible reviews, incredibly. And I have to just, those individual troll-like warriors, whatever. And you just have to have a bit of compassion and go, oh, well, and you also have to have a compassion for yourself and go, oh, well, that was the choice I made back then. I hadn't lived on the planet as long. I had different parameters that set set the tone of my life and what I was offering. I had a different journey in sobriety. I had a different journey in individualism. But I think when I look at everything I have now, whether it's something being translated into another language, an incredible opportunity to collaborate with artists that, and with my publishers that do just such beautiful, amazing, gorgeous, lush, more traditionally witchy, witch aesthetic type products, or creations. I just feel very, very, I just feel very happy with my children right now. I feel very happy with my children. I love them. They're
Oh,
great, and I'm
I love
excited
that.
for them, and grateful to still be pumping them out,
My goodness. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of that. We do have some reading opportunities. So Fiona, if we could just keep you for another minute or two, you wouldn't mind.
Absolutely.
We've opened up for reading. So we usually like to offer our viewers a few little readings around this time. And so I've got my first one here from Fae of the Forest 444. Her reading is a general one. Where to go with my health is what she has asked. So we can all pull a little card and give her a little something, something for her.
I want to pull Carbon Oracle, but I'm feeling intuitively I need to use the Lost Oracle.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to switch. I'm going to use this one for her message.
Very nice.
Are you girls pulling one as well?
We
Yep,
are.
I've got one. I have got one. What about you, Avalon? What are you pulling?
The way I get.
Good.
Are you just going to pull one yourselves? Because usually what I do is when I'm doing readings, because I do readings, I have clients from all over the world. And when I'm shuffling, I usually ask them to tell me when to stop. And that's the card that I pull. But I guess I'll just use my intuition for her and take this one.
Excellent. Excellent.
Okay. So how do we share this? Do you girls want to go first?
I think, yeah, we'll go first and then you can cap it off nicely with that oracle at the very end because that's typically how I like to read. I do all my tarot and then I pull all my oracle at the end.
Me too.
All
That's
right.
how I do it as well.
I like it. Well, I got the Nine of Cups. So here we have the Nine of Cups, and I would say that a lot of your health journey relies on you being able to focus on and set the intention and really link yourself to that intention. This is one of those beautiful wish cards. So I like to turn that into an intention setting, and it requires focus and it requires a little bit of discipline as well. But you need to emotionally balance the internals and really open yourself up to the possibilities, not be too restrictive, go with the flow because we're talking about water here, but mostly set that beautiful intention and really focus on it and push that energy towards that intention and you'll be on the right path.
I got this way, the Six of Pentacles for you, my love, but reversed. So the intuitive hit that I got here really strongly is to focus on giving to yourself, right? So this is a thing I think a lot of women do, people with families, right? We're focusing on everyone else, on the external. And I'm feeling like for your health right now, you've really got to do that sacred selfishness. Focus on you and your needs, and make sure those resources are there for you as well. Like, do you need a new doctor? Do you need, like, what support do you need around you? And really get those people into place.
Okay, great. And I got a big hit with her hormones as being something she needs to address and have the courage to allow mainstream medicine to give her a diagnosis that she can trust and take action on. And then I also got for the card, the Green Man, which is it's time to grow. And the Green Man is very much a masculine kind of presence in the card. All my decks before Lost Oracle were all about the feminine divine, but I worked a lot with the masculine divine in creating Lost Oracle. And the Green Man is allowing a sense of someone else taking care of you, not feeling like everything has to come from you. And also the growing is to let go of old memories and old patterns of when you've been unwell or you've failed or you've felt that it's inevitable no matter how hard you try to, I'm rushing with goosebumps now, how hard you try to get things right. There's always something that's just not quite right. It's time to grow out of that, and your body, your physical frame, your body, and again, I keep getting a big hit with your endocrines, your hormones. That is, it's like your body is turning into, you're becoming a little bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy. So try to, and the beautiful gift about being a self-fulfilling prophecy is that you can create another prophecy because you are self-fulfilling. You're that powerful. So you're not weak, you're powerful. And you have an opportunity to learn so much from your illness and so much from this change in your physical life right now. And it's a beautiful gift. So it's a little bit scary and confronting, but I've always said that fear is just another one of those keys to unlocking your own limitless potential. So give yourself a chance. Allow yourself to receive help, as the girls are saying. I do see it coming from a masculine figure, a male figure, ironically, that is going to give you some advice about hormones and ways of balancing, and there is a solution. And just let yourself grow past these old self-limiting beliefs. That is what the message that's coming through this journey of your health challenge is for. It's not to stop you, it's to grow you. Okay, that's what I get.
Love it. That's beautiful. I love that. Oh my gosh, we've got a bunch.
I hope it's useful. I hope it's useful, and thank you for letting us. I just want to say thank you to what was her name? Faye
of the Forest.
Faye of the Forest.
What was her name? Faye of the Forest. So Faye, thank you, Faye, for letting us read for you. It's a privilege. Thank you.
Oh, beautiful. How are you feeling, Fiona? Are you feeling fatigued?
Oh, we can do another one. Let's do it.
All right.
No, I reckon let's do another.
We've got a bunch, so you just tell me when, okay? All right, the next one is Mara Smith 3557. What does Spirit need me to know? Thank you. And so let's go, ladies. Let's go. All right. How are you going there, Alvine?
Good.
All right.
Hmm.
All right, I can kick us off if you don't mind.
Let's go.
Go for it.
All right, I've got the 5 of Swords.
Interesting.
Yes. So this is kind of like a power over, mentally speaking, that is, because we're talking about air, in which case we are in the mind, we're in the thought process, the communication section of our personalities, etc. And so this is our internal landscape. And so with this, it's showing conflict. All the 5s in the tarot typically do show a certain amount of conflict, and it's typically conflict within the self. And so I like to look at this card as a power over card, and it shows that you might be in a negative headspace right now, and you might be your thought processes might be derailing the natural flow at this very moment in time, in which case they are kind of overarching and impressing upon you. And so we really need to be able to liberate ourselves from that stream of negative, mundane thinking, so that we can actively access exactly what Spirit needs at this moment in time, because negativity can help to close us off. You might not even realize that you're being negative. You might not really realize that you've got a self-limiting belief or something that you're clinging to. But it's really important to sort of sit in that vulnerable space with a really open mind and go, okay, what do I need to know right now? And the start of that conversation is that your thought processes are in fact getting in way, like they are oppressing you a little bit. There's a power over energy there. So just be mindful of how you think and how you strategize and the perspectives that you choose to assume throughout your understanding process, okay?
Really interestingly, I got the 5 of Pentacles for you.
Oh,
Yeah. So
that's
like
2 5s.
Mara. Okay, so listen to everything that Avalon just said. It's time to switch some things up, I think. It's feeling, at the moment like things are blocked, you don't have what you need, resources are scarce, I get a strong sense that emotionally, even though these aren't emotional cards, but I get a strong sense that like emotions are very heavy and difficult right now. Okay, so getting clear in that mental plane is going to start helping to unravel some things in the physical. Those two are so closely tied together. It's unbelievable. So I'm feeling like at this time, if you could do this mental work and then take a look at your physical life, right? I know we're talking spirit here, but this is into physicality. So maybe what are some rituals or some very simple practices that you can start to focus on, right, in your spiritual path for yourself? So this is not about adding pressure, because that's probably already a thing, right? This is like, no. What makes me feel connected? Right? Just strip it right back to the absolute basics. I think that's something that you could really use right now, and just do the spiritual path for you, right? I think, again, in the social media age, we have other people in our minds, right? And that can really stuff up your spiritual practice. I've experienced this myself. So try and remove all of that and just pare it right back. What do you need right now? What makes you feel connected?
Mm.
Mm,
Bang.
I agree. Well, I love it to share with you girls. I got a 5 2. 2 and 3 is 5, right?
Holy shit.
Wow.
It was funny, like this year when I was with my group, one of my Meet Yourself groups in Bali, and we had this thing, you can't make this shit up. Like every card we pulled, every ceremony we did, it was just so next level, epic, magical, aligned, serendipitous, all the things. You can't make this shit up. So you can't make this shit up. Look at that. Number 5, 2 and 3 is 5. Blessed resilience. The image on this card is actually inspired by a woman, Mary Webster, who lived at a time when many were accused of witchcraft wrongly, hundreds of years ago. And so she was actually taken from her home, which she shared with her husband, by a bunch of younger people who decided she was a witch. And that was negative and bad. And she was hung from a tree. And then until she died, they thought she was nearly dead or dead. They took her down and they rolled her in the snow to leave her dead in the icy conditions. And she survived. So blessed resilience is very much aligned with, what Avalon and Alvine is saying with this, with that 5 of swords, with that energy of the mess in your mind, the tension, the stress, the worry about other people's impressions of who you are and what you are. Other people's impressions, even seeking to take this woman from her home and hang her and roll her in the snow, but she survived. Blessed resilience. The message of this card is you can weather this storm. You can weather the storm. So even though you might feel, and I agree with what the other girls are saying, I was resonating with that very, very strongly. It's that sense of self-inflicted fear, worry, angst, anxiety, and worrying about other people's opinions, impressions, or ideas of what and who and how you are. There is an element, I'm going to say the K word, intuitively I'm feeling it's coming not from me but through me, but there's an element of, you feel it's like karmic justice in some way. Did I do something wrong that I deserve this now, or did it happen in a previous life? Blah, 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 blah. That's all the blah, blahs. Right now, your greatest role is to, and I'm going to give you some loving, tough love. Get your shit together. Loving tough love is like, the message from spirit is to just trust that actually you are meant to live with more ease and grace, self-tolerance, outside tolerance, and there is a way for you to find these obstacles in front of you, not to stop you but to guide you. So yeah, just give yourself a break. You can weather this storm. It's just life. Just keep going. We all have to do it until we don't anymore. And trust me, as my past gets longer than my future in this physical form, no matter how healthy I live or whatever, it's like you just realize more and more that even the difficult days are still a gift. Just try to learn and try to grow and try to evolve. And if you're aligning with the magical life, then let that magic transform the situations that are feeling blocked and stressful. Again, other people's opinions won't take you down, but your opinion of yourself could be the most damaging impact you have in your own life. So try to shift that. Okay. And thank you for letting us read for you.
Absolutely. Indeed. Oh, how about that? All fives.
That's, yeah, you can't make this
Can't
shit.
make this shit up.
You you just really can't. How are you feeling, Fee? Have you got one more in you?
Yes, let's do one more. I'd love to. Thank you, girls. Thank you.
All right. So we'll just go in order. So who have we got here? We just did Mars. We have, okay, from Aquarius Tarot Adventures, I would like a spirit message.
Spirit.
A spirit message.
All right.
Okay. Ooh. Feel like I should get my spirit working deck, but I don't know where she is right now.
You know,
Spirit's got it.
I'm feeling guided now. I'm feeling guided to move to the Coven Oracle. I don't know, there's a message in here for them. So I'm shifting decks and I'm going to my new
Nice.
Coven Oracle, okay?
Nice.
It has guidance for the individual as well as the group, but the spirit message is coming through that it needs to be this deck. So I'm going to use it. First time I'm using this.
Oh, is this your
in a
first
reading for someone
time?
else.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's the first time I'm using this deck in a reading for someone else. Yeah.
This is
Oh
an
my
creating
gosh.
it, myself.
We love that. We love that. We love that a lot. Did you hear that, everyone? First time. First time.
Okay, I have the card.
All right.
Ooh.
Oh, I love so much. What did you get, Alvine?
I think I've got to be second, I think.
All right, I'm
I
happy
think
to kick it off again. I don't mind.
Let's
Okay,
just keep
so
the same order. You go. Kick it off, Evelyn.
all right, so we've got this is the Knight of Cups. And as a spirit message, okay, the Knight of Cups, this is the Bone Stone. This is my tarot deck, the Bone Stone and Earthflesh Tarot. And she's actually the Lady of the Lake. So the keepers of wisdom, of soul stories, of sacred song lines, and beautiful messages, and the type of spiritual message that kind of reaches from the depths and hands you the tool that you need. In this case, it was the sword, but what we're talking about here is this message from Spirit, and she's saying that you need to plumb the depths right now, that you need to really connect with the element of water, and that means your intuition, your emotional body, your womb space, whatever that looks like for you, and that imagination, that dreamscape, to really connect with that elemental quality and to plumb your depths, to really deep dive and see what kind of sacred wisdom you can find, especially if there's any kind of restrictive kind of thinking involved. So if you're just like, oh, I'm not sure, I don't know, if you're a little bit like that at this moment in time, dig that little bit deeper. You might end up finding ancestry information that kind of clarifies things for you, like doing that kind of deep dive into who you are, and and the very energies and the very influences and the essence at your core of who you are. This is a deep diving card, so by all means, go for it.
And in the process of diving deep, guess what you are going to find, my love? Death. But this is from the Light Seers deck, and you can see I love that it has this word here too, rebirth, right? Because death is never the end, right? It is a process of transformation, transmutation, if you will. So diving deep, going within, there is going to be some new radical shift within, right? Some rebirth that you're ready to do in your spirituality, perhaps, probably, since we're talking spirit message, but certainly in your life. I think there is a really deep inner transformation that's waiting to take place. Perhaps this is something you've already felt. I find these kinds of things herald their entry for a while, right? Until you like really feel it. But going through that process with the Page of Cups is going to land you on I think, clarity about the next steps for you, the next way of being, you know, letting go of everything that is no longer serving you anymore and moving into this new, beautiful, bright version of yourself, if you will. I just want to show this again because this is a hood here, this figure, and look within. Look at this. I just feel that so strongly, that illumination for you. I think there's a really profound journey right here for you right now. So go in deep.
Gorgeous. Yeah. Well, I got from the new Oracle, Coven Oracle that's going to be out next year. And I'm really excited because it's the first time I've actually split these cards for another individual and read for them. And what we got was this really beautiful one, the Unwritten Spell.
Ooh.
Okay, I'm just trying to hold that up there so you can see that. So the Unwritten Spell, conjure, listen, and cast. I'll show you again. So in my practice and in the privilege of speaking about it publicly for over 30 years, people have often asked me, what's my favorite spell? And I've always said, my life. My life is a work of magic. I'm casting it daily, you know. And so the message of the Unwritten Spell is very much aligned to what the other girls are saying. It's a sense of, you might feel like you've got to find the answer in, oh my God, I've got to find the answer in a book, you know, I've got to find the answers somewhere else because I can't trust myself. So somewhere else, there's going to be something that tells me what to do. And really, this is a time, and it's funny when Alvine said death, and I immediately in my mind went rebirth, and then she said, and the other word on the card is rebirth. It's like, can't make this shit up. But it is the fact, this is a rebirth. It's not an ending. And living in Egypt for most of the time, as I do, where, you know, and going into the ancient temples and having the privilege of spending time alone in the pyramid inside doing sound ceremony and even though that's not a tomb, it's definitely a machine, but that's a whole other story for another show. But just being in Egypt, where the role of death is such a venerated and celebrated thing in life, you know, they've spent their lives preparing for death. Even the people who were not the pharaohs and not the wealthy, but they all had the workers at Deir el-Medina who painted all the tombs. I mean, they had the most beautiful elaborate tombs with scenes painted on them for their life in the afterworld. It's all a symbol. We've already died, put it that way. Like, we were inside a womb and our lungs were full of fluid and we heard sounds and felt things and sort of saw in a weird way, and all of a sudden we're pushed out through this incredibly painful, or maybe just popped out through a cesarean, but still pretty painful. You're like, oh my God, light, noise, smell, what is this? And you're born again. We've already died. We died when we were born. Makes sense? It's just practical.
Yeah, it does.
So
it does.
It's just practical. It's obvious. It's obvious. We died already when we were born. You know, died to one very, very specific, all-consuming, all-everything world, and we were born into this world. And then, you know, there'll be something, I'm sure, similarly extraordinary when we die to this world and go to the next one. Sure there will be. How could there not be? It's just what happens. So we've already been through it once. So my point is, yeah, don't be scared of the death card. It's fantastic. We're so lucky we get to die so many times in this life and be reborn. It's a blessing. Don't be scared. Don't be scared of change. And conjure, listen, and cast. The Unwritten Spell for you, the message specifically is that I get this really strong vision of you not using pencil to paper very, very often. And you don't often hold a pen or a paper. And that might sound really general because who of us do? We're just the phone all the time, phone, la, la, la. When do we actually write with something down? But we've forgotten the power of pen to paper, that physical action of us making our mark.
So yes,
whether we trace something in the sand, whether we sprinkle salt on a table and draw a sigil with our fingertip, whatever it is, it's the potent power of your hand to paper. The Unwritten Spell is like automatic writing. I feel that you're at a spiritual place where you would, if you create a sacred space, like, even as simple as just candle, incense, a crystal, whatever feels relevant to you. Something new, paper. I've used papyrus. I got papyrus from Egypt, handmade paper, and I've used that for sigil writing. It's and writing is hard for me at the moment because with this autoimmune condition, I have a lot of what's like arthritis in my hands. It's shifting. It's intense, and it makes holding things really difficult a lot of the time. I'm having a good morning this morning where I can actually shuffle cards. Sometimes my hands are like frozen. But anyway, that's my journey, not yours right now. You can hold a pen to paper or whatever the tool is. And it's time for some automatic writing to just shut down the conscious mind, whatever it takes. I recommend not drinking alcohol or using a substance that is really heavy like that to go to a space. I don't know if that speaks to you, but just try to use something more neutral. If you need to shut down the busy mind, allow messages to come through you and just write. Automatic writing is where you just write anything that comes up. You draw anything, you write anything. It's the unwritten spell that's waiting to come through you. And that is the thing you need to do. That thing that you write down when you allow yourself that space to let the message come through you. You are the conduit. And conjure, listen. We'll conjure by listening and then cast. So that's the message.
I love that. I have to say, I'm over here going, oh, it's happened again, right? How's this? I'm currently working on an oracle deck myself to go with my beautiful Bone Stone and Earth Flesh tarot, and I actually have already created.
Which is a beautiful tarot,
author,
by the way. Amazing.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. But I have a card that's only just been created in the last couple of days. It's called the unwritten scroll. It's the unwritten scroll, not the spell, but the unwritten scroll. And I've gone,
there's the scroll, there's the spell. We're connected. I love it. Community. Perfect. And maybe that's a really beautiful message for our collective community, our collective magical community. Like as we lean so heavily into the digital age, it's like, let's not forget the tactile power of our physicality, whether that means actually writing this, this is a quill on a scroll, whether you're out there in the sand at the beach, tracing things in the sand, like in the dirt. I love it when, sometimes rather than, if I see a beautiful flower on a plant, look, there was a beautiful rose growing. My mum and I are starting to take walks together. Again, my mother's got Alzheimer's, so I'm helping care for her with my sister-in-law and my brother. I'm recovering from hip replacement, but I'm feeling fantastic because I don't have pain anymore. So I go for a walk with my mum and we see this beautiful rose and we smell it. And I picked it for mum because it was on my sister-in-law's bush, and we brought it in and we put it next to mum's bed. I normally like not to pick flowers because I like to recognise them and honour them, and I get a message from the flower whether it's okay to pick them or not. Likewise with buying flowers, occasionally I have, but it's an interesting kind of thing of that conversation with nature, But what I will do, my whole point of sharing this is, if I love a flower and I don't pick it, I trace my initials in the base at the base of where the plant is in the dirt to honour, to give some love. And to have that conversation. And I feel very connected to that act because I feel that the plant receives that touch, that connection, that physicality. So I think as witches, sometimes we're just all up on, we've got to create another TikTok video, we've got to create another thing, and we've just got to look good on camera and blah, 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 blah. And how do we actually, often do we get out there and put our hands in it, and our feet in it?
Exactly.
And so we forget the power that comes through this whole body, this thing that we're in, the spirit having a physical experience is a radical powerful kind of energy. I was going to say energy center. That's not a good description. But just we're like it's like I think of going inside the Great Pyramid and understanding that is like it's a machine, that red granite inside the main chamber, that what they call the King's Chamber, and it's just impregnated with, it's made with this red granite that's just got so much quartz in it. It's such a powerful piezoelectric kind of essence energy going on there, and you just feel it when you walk in there. And if you do ceremony and sound and you align with it, it's a magnification thing. It magnifies everything, even as kind of disused as it is now for what its original purpose was. It's still an incredibly potent thing to walk into. Our bodies are the same. Our bodies are equally potent. We just kind of smother them with substances and stuff, and that's the whole thing of getting out there in nature naked and just nothing between you and her and just everything. And it's just like, that's where you really feel the power that we have innate in our physicality. And whatever stage we're at, whether we're like, I think kids know it, they run out and get it all, that they get it. And then we become adulterated, you know, the term adulterated, we become adults and we kind of lose it. And then
it's
I think,
so true.
Yeah.
That's why I have an outdoor bathtub. I specifically have one now. I created an outdoor bathtub just so I could sit out under the stars with my lush bath
and feel that, and plug in,
and just look at the sky and just like lean back and just be in my thoughts in the sky. And it's the most incredible experience because I live in the country. I live in the deep south of Tasmania. The sky is clear. I could reach out and sort of like pluck a star from the sky. It's so clear.
Pluck the stars out of the sky. Yeah.
Exactly. There's
what it's
very,
like
very
on the top
little
of
light pollution.
Top of Mount Sinai. Light
Oh,
pollution,
it's
yeah.
so good.
So I guess, I mean, I don't want to waffle on too much, but it's to remember that our bodies are like tapping it back into this power of the written work, we're a witchcraft. It's a craft. Craft, the English word, what does it mean? It means to do things, you know, with your hands, with your blood, with your breath, with your, you know, that interaction is something that as modern witches, it would, you know, you don't have to do anything. But I would say, you know, after so many years of practice, conscious practice, it's the most potent experience that you'll have. And it'll be unexpected because you kind of just live in it all the time. And then all of a sudden go, oh my gosh, this body actually, wow. It really is a tool of transformation. It's not something to feel. There's one thing I'd say also, especially for women, we're kind of in a era where, you know, we've been told for a long time that we have a use by date and our destiny is to grow old, get sick and die expensively, you know, as if you're part of the Western world. And as I grow old in that concept, and I have got sick, and it has been a little bit expensive at times, it's not the end. It's just a shift. It's just a shift, and it's not a destination as much as part of a lesson and a journey. And then you remember, and then you shift, and then you get well, and then you continue, you know.
Beautiful. Beautifully said. Very beautifully said. Folks, well, we are now at the
what time is it, Avalon?
It's 11:41 for me down here. So you'd be in the same time zone.
Oh my gosh, nearly 2 hours. All right, I guess
I know.
Yeah.
You've done really well.
Yeah. I mean, look, I hope we haven't held everyone up too long, but I guess it might be time to start closing our conversation today. I kicked the family out. All my mother, my sister-in-law, they've gone down to my sister-in-law's father to have breakfast down there, so I could have the house to myself and be nice and quiet. So I should probably let them come back. I feel really guilty. I think my nephew is in his bedroom, scared to come out, and my brother is in his bedroom. He's a train driver and he worked till 4:30, but he's probably going to be 4:30 a.m. He's probably going to be waking up soon. So I should probably give the house back to the family and let the dogs come inside because they're crying outside. They want to come in and see what Auntie Fiona's doing. Oh my gosh. The girls, can I just say something? I know I talk a lot. I'm really grateful that I tend to waffle on. I always warn people that if you've written 18 books, you tend to be a bit of a talker. But I just love that we've had this conversation. I think sometimes I'm quite an introvert, and especially in this healing journey, I've been very introverted, and it's just been really lovely to spend time with both, and lovely to meet you, Albine, and just to draw cards together. I have to say, I've not had the privilege of doing that I can even remember, that the three of us have gone and done this collaborative reading. I've really enjoyed it. I haven't done that before. I tend to, the readings, I don't really advertise them. There's a little thing on my website. You have to hunt for it, but if you find it, you can find a way to connect with me about having a reading. And I just trust that the universe, goddess, God, what it all is, brings me the clients that need me at the time, and I can be of service. And then, I don't kind of go do a lot of this kind of card reading online, or I see it, Instagram, TikTok, there's just millions of people pulling cards every day. I do have a Patreon community I want to share, and I do, as part of my activities in the Patreon community, where you can join a membership. It's like $3 US, $5 Australian a month. And I do a card reading every Sunday. And all the money that comes through that, I use 100% of it on my animal rescue efforts. So if anyone enjoyed the reading I'm kind of doing today, and wanted to join my Patreon, it's really easy. You just go to fionahorne.com and just know that every sign up, every single cent goes towards the animal rescue. And I'm so grateful for people that join my Patreon community, for that reason, especially because it can get really expensive in the physical linear terms, outside of just the time and effort and energy that it takes. But yeah, so if you like the way I'm reading and you like the way that I've shared with the girls the cards, I do that every Sunday as a part of my Patreon community. And again, if you join, your money goes directly towards my animal rescue efforts, and I'm so, so grateful for that help.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I love that. Oh, Fiona, it has been delightful from the bottom of my heart. And for Avalon. And Laura couldn't be with us today. She had some technical issues that kept her away. She is so upset that she could not make it, because I don't know if you'll remember when we
maybe we can get back together.
Absolutely. Yes to all of it. Yes. I'll interview you thousands of times. Oh my gosh, because there's so much to talk about and there's so much to sort of discuss, and you've opened up the door to your beautiful life, and we appreciate you very much for having said what you've said and shared what you've said. It was so beautiful. It was so authentic, and it gave us a little kind of glimpse behind the veil, behind the Instagram, behind the social media, at who you are and where you are going at this moment in time, and just the beautiful magic that comes from you. So that's such a gift. So thank you so much for agreeing to this beautiful little interview. And we wish you only the best on your healing journey. You look amazing already. So I can't believe you've just had surgery. That's crazy, but it happens. And to everybody,
it's all about your attitude. It's all about your attitude. So I'll just say real quickly, I had a girl next to me in hospital, and because I was, and she was lovely, but her attitude towards what was going on was so different. She was really, fighting with the doctors and the nurses, and her journey was different to mine, but still similar, very similar, with the surgery required and the kind of things that were going on. And I just knew it had a lot to do with, her thoughts and how she was, she would not let herself receive help. I'll just say quickly, the most beautiful, I've always been the girl that, I told you earlier, I left home super young. I've just always done everything myself. I'm like, even when I had a great team of managers or whatever, I still felt this innate, oh no, but I've got to be able to do it. And you're good, Fiona, but you're just not good enough. And you just got to push all the time. And it was like getting this sick, getting the gift of being so unwell. Like literally I was in a wheelchair in June this year, frozen with this terrible condition where I couldn't even turn my head or lift my arms. Like I was like this, and it was shocking. And the pain in every cell of my body was just obliterating. And I was misdiagnosed. I was told I was imagining it. I'm, menopausal. Oh, come on, I'm nearly 60. My period's finished ages ago. Just this. But most of the time, mainstream medicine told me I was imagining it. Until finally I found a doctor who said, actually, you're not imagining it. We're going to do this blood test on you. Oh my God, you've got this. Yikes, we better start treating you with this. And all my natural supplements weren't catching up with it. I asked my body, most importantly, I remember being frozen like this and trying to do something. And I just said to my body, what do you need? And it said, I need attention. And then I gave it attention, but it still wasn't quite the right attention, because I went to the doctor. I tried to get help outside of the mainstream. Any of the ladies who came to me on my Meet Yourself in Bali, came with me in May, June of this year, know this. They saw me frozen as it started to come on, and I was rubbing ice on my arms in the morning thinking, ice helps with inflammation. My intuition is telling me this is inflammation. If I rub ice on my arms, I'll be able to move them, and gradually they would open up. You know, I mean, it was insane. It was so insane. My point is, and then to being in a wheelchair, being literally coming back to Australia in a wheelchair, and finally getting the diagnosis of this autoimmune condition I have. But I asked my body again, you know, what after saying, what do you need? It said, I need attention. And then when I went to the specialist and he told me I was going to be on chemo and steroids and all these different things, and I didn't want to do any of that. This was just in June of this year. And I asked my body again, what do you need? And my body said, I need help. I need help. And I thought, fuck, I've got to let people help me. And it was a huge lesson. It's a huge lesson to be that weak and to realize there is so much strength in saying, I cannot do this. Please help me.
Yes.
It was the most powerful thing I've ever said. I cannot do this. Please help me. And I got help. And, you know, look, I'm really getting there. And this hip replacement, people say, well, you're so young, why'd you get a hip replacement? And I was like, well, I'm turning 60 next year. Oh, well, okay, well, why'd you get a hip replacement? And it's like a life well danced, a life well jumped out of airplanes, a life well trekked all over the world, swum to the bottom of the ocean, literally, like blah, 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 a life of all these things, running, teaching, running all the time. But also the autoimmune condition turned it into an emergency where what was going on in my hip joint was just getting really, really, really gnarly, and they thought it might be cancer and a whole bunch of things. And in the end, I just had a full hip replacement to manage the situation. And I just cannot tell you girls and anyone who's still watching that how incredible it is. I'm 3 weeks since surgery, and honestly, I can stand. I mean, you saw me hop up. I just hopped up, got the cards, came back. I mean, you don't even know how long it used to take me just to how to get out of a chair. Like even this year, Meet Yourself in Egypt, just in October, like trekking around the country with a cane. By the way, let me grab it with my cane. And you know, just the only way I got around for the last like 6 months was with a cane. I mean, all the things, and now I can just hop up, you know, make a cup of coffee. I can sit on a toilet. Oh my gosh, get up, no worries. It's like, it's just, amazing. And my hands, they work. It's incredible. So even, I just want to offer it, you can just feel like when you're that sick, you just feel like, oh, this is forever. And nothing's forever. You can always change. No, and yes, I'm on a bit of chemo and I'm on a bit of steroids, but I'm weaning off them and I feel great. And I'm taking certain pills so my hair doesn't fall out. You know, alhamdulillah, as we say in Arabic, Egyptian Arabic, thank you, Allah. Thank you, God. Thank you, Goddess. Thank you, all of it. There's always a way through. And it depends so much on your attitude. It depends. And a lot of our readings today, that for the people that called in, were all about how's our head affecting our lives, you know?
That was a big theme, wasn't it? Wow.
It was a theme.
Well,
and I think that's natural.
You've lived a true life of adventure, let me say. You've lived an incredible life of adventure. I first encountered your work when I was 19 years old. I have been slowly following on, like all the television appearances. Like I came across the Mad House only yesterday, and I'm like,
Mad House, yeah. Oh my God, only yesterday.
Only yesterday.
I was going to say, it's wild. Mad House was a television show I was on in like 2000, and we filmed it in 2004, I think. I mean, it was it was in America, because I've lived in America 20 years. I have a US passport now and everything for living and working there for so long. And that's where I did all my flying, all my commercial ratings, my flight as a pilot. We're all American FAA. You know, I worked there as a pilot for 7 years. Before COVID, you know, COVID kind of stopped that. But and I was still writing books about witchcraft. But I always say a plane is an obvious level up from a broomstick, right? It's like, it's a lot more comfortable, you can fit a lot more people on it, climate control. So it seemed, I've flown, I've been a witch with a broom for a long time. Now I'll be a witch with a plane, obvious up level. So I did that for 7 years. But I guess like I'm losing track with what I was saying now. Just why was I saying that? Why was I talking about planes and flying? We were saying something then, following my journey. Where was I going with that? This is what happens on a Sunday morning when you start chatting too much.
I didn't say
that. What were we saying? Why did I bring up the plane? I can't remember. there was a reason I was mentioning the plane in America and Madman House, that's right. So
That's
Madman
right.
House,
Yeah.
we filmed it in 2004. There was very little reality then. We were one of the first reality shows. So it was 5 alts, a witch, a vampire, a voodoo priestess, and a modern primitive and a naturist. And we were considered the weirdos. I mean, you wouldn't be politically correct to offer a show like that now, but we were the weirdos, and we had 10 contestants. I can't even remember, and they had to compete in all these challenges. And some people have reviewed that show now as being so ahead of its time, because the goal was who can best respect, understand, and learn with us as alts, as the alternatives, and impress us to win the prize. And the prize was $100,000, which was a lot of money back then. And one of our guests,
now.
Jamie, who won it, she was amazing. Like, she's, we had got, yeah, well, yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, it's a lot of money for some of us, for sure. Oh gosh, $100,000 US. I mean, how much money is that? It's a ton. But yeah, it was like it was an amazing show, because our contestants had to, I created challenges like where it was a goddess ceremony and initiation, where they all had to sit in a cave with masks on in silence for 8 hours and come out and tell us what they learned. I mean, it was pretty deep, and each of us is like Don the vampire. He had a very specific kind of way. He lived a life as a vampire that felt very, he was a very interesting person biologically. He had a very unusual body, and he was a very beautiful man, like incredible skin, and just very double jointed. He could blow his finger out and bend his finger backward like a candle flame. He was super interesting. He did drink blood. He did draw blood from his girlfriend's arm and drink it. I nearly threw up when he did that, but watching that, but it was just, his world was very much authentic. His vampiric life was, to him, a deeply integrative, and we all had to respect that and learn his world. He did sleep in a coffin, all the things, and he did that in his way. He was so dedicated and authentic in his choices. Who am I to judge, And by the same token, my practice as a witch was equally set up on the stage in that reality show as like, I'm just as fucking weird. And if I wanted to be really base and describe it in that way, but I wasn't, and none of us were. The modern primitive wasn't. Art, he had incredible body modification practices. He hung from hooks in his back, holding one of our guests 12 feet in the sky in the main living room as part of his, from the ceiling in the main living room as part of his disciplines. And we all learned so much from and with each other. David Wolf, who's a very big presence in social media now, Avocado, we knew him as. He was our naturist. We were drinking, eating raw cacao and drinking ashwagandha smoothies with him and maca smoothies with him before they were popular on that show. It was an amazing show to be a part of, Mad House. They wanted to present us as free, but honestly, our contestants ended up appearing a lot more freaky than we did. Us alts were actually quite normal compared to what our guests from the everyday world did. But, I mean, that was an incredible time to be a part of being on mainstream television. I mean, and, there were billboards with my face on them all over America. Every bus stand you went past had my face on them. It was an really extraordinary time. And, to kind of weather through that was 20 years ago. And I love that you just found out about it. If people want to see some of the fun old appearances on TV, I have a YouTube channel. I don't think there's any episodes of Mad House on it. I could probably load some up, but you can find it just by searching it. It shows
It is
up
on YouTube
and
though.
stuff like that.
I saw it yesterday on YouTube.
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Yeah,
I think people have uploaded it, but
all
Hulu
seasons
was
are up
as well. Up on YouTube.
Yeah, it's all up there. So if you wanted to watch it,
but I have a channel.
I was having my cuppa yesterday.
Right. I've got I have a channel called Fiona Horne Rewind on YouTube. Fiona Horne Rewind. It's got over 500,000 views now. I'm amazed, the channel. It's got a lot of appearances I did back 20, 30 years ago. Robert Wilmhurst is a bit of a archivist historian, and I gave him all my old VHSs, and he had a whole collection. He's uploaded all these old appearances. And most recently, I know, are you girls aware of Tyra Banks? Tyra Banks is she was a supermodel, and she's living in Sydney now. She's originally from America, and she had a show. She was actually on TV a lot this week, because I've been in bed watching morning television a lot, because I have to lay down a bit as part of my recovery from my surgery. And so she has an ice cream shop called Smize and Dream, and it's opened in Sydney. And she has this type of ice cream called a hot ice cream. I mean, when I'm well enough, I just want to go in and try all the ice creams in her store because I really do love ice cream. But having said all that, she hosted the Tyra Banks show back about 15 years ago.
I remember.
And I was a guest on it. And it was the life of witches. And so Robert, my historian, my video historian, who runs the Fiona Horne Rewind YouTube channel, he said he had it and he could make it go public. And so I'm going to do a social media post about it, an Insta post about it, but it's on my Fiona Horne Rewind. And when you watch this interview with Tyra 20 years ago and you see me on it, or maybe it's 15 years ago, I can't remember, somewhere around that line, and you see me on it talking to her about witchcraft, and it's so swung to the Christian right a bit, but it was a really amazing opportunity on a very huge American talk show I mean, she was on the Oprah channel. It was massive, like to talk about, I had an opportunity to actually talk about what it was like to be a real witch, what it meant, what back then, and to reflect on watching that on TV now and reflecting on what it's like now, and just seeing how there was a girl next to me, Rena, who was a model, and then this beautiful African-American girl talking about her practice. She was making jokes about, well, I am a black witch, obviously, like, look at my skin. It was pretty cute. But yeah, it was like, I mean, it was very interesting. So I'd really recommend people watch. I'm going to put something up on Instagram about it, hopefully later today. But the links are, it's up there on my Fiona Horne Rewind channel, that whole episode of the Tyra show. And just seeing Tyra sitting on the couch of the morning show on Channel 7 talking about her ice cream, and remembering that I sat on a couch opposite her talking about witchcraft, 15 years ago. It's just so much has changed. It's
Excellent.
just so, I think there's so much to be learned from the past to have a point of reference to see how far we've come. It's amazing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, love it. We're definitely going to have you back on.
All right, I'm going to shut up now. Yeah, next year, let's do it. I'd love to come back because I'm doing this big book tour of Australia in March, and I'll be announcing the dates soon. So if we have a chat about it, I'd love to get down to Tassie. I hope I can. I have to be honest and say the practicalities of the cost of going on a book tour is next level, because Australia is so expensive, like next level. So I'm like, okay, my publishers are amazing, but there's only so much we can all do these days. So I'm going to do my very best to get as far and wide as I can. But, if I'm in Melbourne and you're in Tassie and I can't get to you, but you can get a cheap Jetstar airline,
I will come up.
Come and see me. I'd love it.
I will definitely come up for that. Looking
great.
forward to it. That's exciting. All right. Well, keep me posted when you post your dates and all of that. Next year. It's going to be a busy year. I've got this feeling that 2026 is going to be like this super creative and super busy year. Avalon, we could actually go to Melbourne and do a live podcast.
I was just thinking, because I'm in Melbourne, I'm like, yes, come to Melbourne. Let's do a whole thing. Like, it'll be amazing.
Let's do that. I could actually sit in with you girls. How fun would that be? That'd be awesome. Let's do it.
Yes, I love that story. Yes, let's do that.
I'll be down there for like a week or so. I'll be down there for like a week or so, doing some activities, as well as just having some time off. I've got really good girlfriends down in Melbourne, because I lived in Melbourne for a long time in the late 90s, early 2000s, before I moved to America. So Melbourne feels like home to me always,
It's got such a great vibe. I remember still, like back in the day, like there was no internet. This is pre-internet, folks. I was living in Mackay in Queensland, and I found the Witchcraft magazine, and the Witchcraft magazine led me to the esoteric bookstore. I had to call the esoteric bookstore. They then sent me out a black and white printed catalog, which was incredible at the time. And then I could just go through and pick what I wanted and then call them up, place the order. They would send cash on delivery, and I would be like, that's how it was done, folks. That's how it was done.
Oh. And the key thing about what you're sharing, it's a bit different to now. I was just going to say, we live in a time of instant gratification now. We can just plug and play, literally. Let's see something, tap on it, get it next day by Amazon or whatever. And it's like, there's something really beautiful about, we were so lucky it wasn't so easy for us. That just real quick, I'll say, we talk about witchcraft being occult, like that. And the meaning of the word occult is that which is secret and hidden. That's a very simplistic meaning of the English interpretation of the word, obviously, but that which is secret and hidden. And now it's not, and that's been the interesting thing. It's not secret and hidden anymore. It's right out there. So how do we trust our what we're drawn to? Are we sure it's not just something we're just going, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. I mean, I don't mind. Please buy my Paladin Oracle deck. I would be grateful. My babies love to be held and hugged by others. It's but it's really something to think about. Hey, like taking
Absolutely.
pause, just not rushing into things and thinking, even with ethical crystal, sourcing, it's like, how do we make sure our crystals are not a byproduct of fracking or I mean, it's a whole other conversation, but ethical sourcing of tools, magical tools, like it's so much, That was one thing I'll say real quick. I know I'm really naughty for continuing on. You asked me earlier, what was the lessons like, what, being a part of the natural world, what were the lessons of the area I grew up in? That question that we talked about earlier. And I talked about being in Western Australia and having relationships with First Nations people that I hadn't had before, where I could learn a lot of their practices pertaining to that area of the planet, the continent where they are, And there was I learned to ask permission, to try. As a witch, we kind of feel like we can walk in anywhere and interact with anything and take anything. But the First Nations people, the original custodians, have certain areas that are super sacred to them. And to kind of go in and just take, thinking it's all right to take this and put this on my altar, I became kind of more aware of doing a little bit more research, especially in Australia, of what was the Indigenous practices here, what were the First Nations practices here, what resonance does it have? And some would say, yes, take that, that's fine, or that's fine, but that area, no, could you leave that? And so do a little bit of research about where you are as well, and how you learn to have a conversation not only with the land but the custodians of the land. Just a little something to think about. Don't get overwhelmed by it, but just think about it. A bit of conscious magical practice is good.
Yeah, agreed. Absolutely agreed. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Fee. Thank you so much for being here.
All right.
If you give me 1 second.
Thank you for having me for so long.
No, it's our absolute pleasure. What I'll do now is I'll just say, if you wouldn't mind saying your goodbye to the people watching, but just stay on for a tiny bit longer so that we can actually say our proper goodbyes at the end, okay? So by all means, speak to everyone watching.
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone watching. Really appreciate you tuning in for this, what was meant to be 1 hour and became 2 hours, but that's what happens. Magic grows and magic flows. So, and just remember, you can't make this shit up. So just trust your magical life and enjoy it. And if you want to find out more about me, just go to Fiona Horne. That's Horne, but you probably see it on the screen, FionaHorne.com, and it's all there. I'm grateful. I do my website myself, so it doesn't look as glamorous and as amazing and as advanced as some people who have professional web designers. I just do it myself from my heart with love. I sit there for hours with my sore, swollen hands, updating everything. So I hope that you enjoy what you find there. And if you want to join me, any ladies out there, any women out there who want to join me for Meet Yourself Adventures in Egypt, Bali, and Transylvania next year, there's 1 place left for Bali. There's 5 places left out of 16 for Egypt. And then there's Transylvania I'm about to announce, and there's only going to be 10, and 3 are already gone actually, because I tend to create community. The ladies that travel with me come back and travel with me again and again. So we're starting to build this community of intentional, conscious, cultural, magical travels, nourishing spiritual adventures for women. So check it out. It's all on my website, along with information about my new babies who are coming out into the world in February next year, but available for pre-order now. And Lost Book of Spells that I don't have a copy of, but it's so beautiful. That's my beautiful baby that's out now, and she's ready for Christmas shopping, Chrissy purchases if you want.
Excellent.
She's out there in the world, 3 reprints. Yeah, it's 150 spells over that. I've never had a spell book before with all these books I've done, and this year my publishers last year, whenever we started working this, they said, you should do a spell book. I was like, yes, it's time. And the book has the same beautiful design as this. It's like a beautiful hardcover book. If you go to my Instagram at Captain Fifi, or on my website, you'll see the beautiful Lost Book of Spells. It has a similar beautiful ornate designs and illustrations, and it's got a lot of information in there about just spell casting, moon magic, sun magic, practical advice, the best tips I can give you after 30 years of spell casting to ensure that your spells can actually work. All that's in there. And there's some beautiful Arabic love charms and some spells and magical practices I've got from my Egyptian friends that are very, very beautiful and kind of different. And so spells from all around the world, and spells for our online digital presence, media presence, online dating even, as well as there's a whole section for families, like what do you do if your kid can't sleep or has got a toothache, or or if you can't get along, your mother and daughter are fighting all the time. Like, there's so much stuff in there to cover the gamut of life. Lost Book of Spells is something and again, it's gone into its 3rd reprint, and it only came out in March. It's just serving our magical community as such a useful tool, and I'm super grateful, because spell books can just be a bit like oh, just peel it out, there's another one. But this was really intentional. It's actually spells I've been creating for over 30 years, and I've finally actually put them all in a book, plus more recently, and there they are with my wonderful publishers, Rockpool. So again, Rockpool do this sort of stuff. I'm just very lucky that they create these amazing things that as a community we can enjoy.
Excellent. Excellent. I'm going to have to check out your Lost Book of Spells, because I do like to collect the odd spell book. And I love to see how spells are structured by others, because I think that's actually one of the most functional ways to learn magic, is to look at how spells are structured. And that will give you a bit of a lesson in how can I lay out my spell. And it's always great to personalize a little bit here and there, and just... Oh, so good. All right, folks. Well, we have reached that point where we shall
Yes.
tie up right now. And Alvine, do you want to say anything?
Thanks for hanging out with us, everyone. Thank you so much, Fiona, for coming today. This was absolutely incredible. I don't know, I feel so grateful, so blessed that we've had this opportunity. And like you, I don't know, I just want to mention the stack reading thing that we just did, reading with others. I actually was just invited to be part of this panel only a few weeks ago. So that was my first time doing it as well. And I think it's my favorite way to read now. I don't know. It's amazing.
100% the best.
It was super fun. Yeah. And realizing how aligned we all are and how plugged in we are. So
when you can read in that collective.
Yeah, it's really
absolutely.
Good.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. And that's what this Oracle deck is designed for. Collective reading. I just realized I have to just mention Carbon Oracle. It's an Oracle designed to be pulled by groups. So by more than one person. So when this actually comes out, it probably is an obvious, beautiful extension of what we've just experienced today, because that's it. I created it to picture people sitting in groups and pulling a card each and discussing it, and a group reading. So yeah, amazing.
Exactly.
Thanks for letting me just kind of throw that up in the camera one more time. I'm so excited about it. A bit different,
Well, I've got it on my list. I'm definitely going to pre-order it. I've got 3 new decks of yours to pre-order. I will absolutely add them to my collection, and then share them all over social media, as I usually do, because I like to tag people in my stuff. So you'll see it. You'll see it when it happens.
Thank you.
Well, thank you everyone for hanging out with us. We hope to join you again soon with Spread This Witches. Alora, in your face, you couldn't make it. I'm so sorry. I love you, but you were sorely missed. But perhaps next time it will be good. See you later, guys. Oh, and that's it. I think we've